All right, it's back here on the 1978 Toyota pickup. Another shortish update. And so I did get the cross member all ground down enough. It's pretty good. That little tiny bit of bead right there, I don't care. I did drop the engine in there and I got all the clearance I needed, and so I think that's going to work out just fine. I got the transmission on a little dolly so I could roll it around in there and get measurements. You saw how that thing ain't fitting at all. So inside of here, so you know, it's butted up against that back piece and it does need to come back just a little bit more, and so need to cut a little bit out of the back. And then it's currently higher than I had it, and so I stacked another 2x4 underneath here. And so while it looks like right now there's enough room, in reality it's got to drop down like 2 inches, the whole contraption does. And so definitely got to get that taken care of. So also the big old straps that I had on here to hold the cab to the lift so it wouldn't fall off or rock around or do something weird, you notice those are gone, because for the first time, and I don't even know how many years, this sucker is actually bolted to the frame. You know, all these things are rotted out. I mean, that every single mount is brand new because I had to replace every single one of them. And so, you know, this thing was just setting on the frame previously, and I've replaced every single cab mount and they were all rotted out. And so it's probably been a decade since this thing was actually setting on there properly, which is pretty cool. So that was a big step. The reason why I wanted to do that was because, you know, I've already chopped up the firewall a ton. You can see that big old hole there where the engine needs to go. I think that's going to be big enough based on, you know, how everything's fitting. So I think that's going to be all right. But I do got to cut a bunch of the floor out in order to get the transmission in here. And this main support beam that goes through the middle of it, I'm going to have to cut that out. And so what I didn't want to have happen is this sucker shift around on me after I got that in place. And so I ended up, you know, taking the time to get all the cab mounts in place, because I figured this would be the easiest way for that to hold all that rigidity. I thought about putting in some sort of temporary structure, bending up some metal, you know, doing like a hoop or something, like welding from this piece and doing like a hoop over to the other side in order to, you know, keep that straight and true. I thought about going up underneath it and then doing like a hoop underneath in order to, you know, make sure that it was strong. Figure that would get in my way when I'm trying to move the transmission in and out of here. And so took the time to just make all the mounts and get that thing bolted in. So what I ended up using were some mounts for a later model Toyota. I don't know if this has the box has a model number anywhere on it, but I think it's for like 84, 92 era. And so these are all the mounts that it came with. So it came with 4 of this size and then 4 that are a little bit bigger. And so the little bit bigger ones I used around the floors, and then the smaller ones like this, I used the smaller ones next to where the radiator support is. And then it came with these bushes that go on the bottom, and you know, I didn't need to use all of them. It came with a set of 8, and I only need 6 because I only have 6 points. You can see that the previous mount was definitely a lot thicker compared to the new one. And so I did have to do some shimming, added some washers. There's sections where I actually had to use my, homemade mocked up pieces here in order to get everything as level as I could. It's pretty good, honestly. I think that, for what I'm trying to get done, you can see that bottom body line there is not bad, and then the gap is pretty even. It's about a thumb width all the way around. On this side, it's a little bit low, and so I think I just need to add another washer because it's just a little bit low on that corner. And so I just think I just need to add, like an 1/8 inch washer or something to bring that up. But overall, pretty good. Like I said, it's about a thumb width on both sides, and so that's pretty good. And then as far as like down the line, I mean, it's not bad. So pretty happy with that as far as getting me the support that I needed to get for the cab before I cut that out. That was definitely the right thing to do. So, all right, get to cutting. All right, catch you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.